Bhagavata-sevayā Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati uttama-shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Jai Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Canto 10, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Chapter 4, entitled The Atrocities of King Kamsa. We read till text 42 last time, so we'll continue from there where we stopped last time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll get started here. '42 we read. Just to give a brief background, here the servants of Kamsa have made plans to destroy the cows, the Vedic culture, austerity, truthfulness, and all the piety, because they understood that Krishna or Vishnu is the source of all these things. And to destroy Vishnu, we must destroy Vaishnavas and Vaishnava culture, cows, etc. That's how they have made a very, very irreligious plan, very impious plan. So let's see what happens further. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evam Durmantribhi Kamsaha Sahasam Mantraya Durmatihi Brahma Himsam Hitam Mene Kala Pashavrito Suraha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shukadeva Goswami continued, thus, having considered the instructions of his bad ministers, Kamsa, who was bound by the laws of Yamaraj and devoid of good intelligence, because he was a demon, decided to persecute the saintly persons, the Brahmanas, as the only way to achieve his own good fortune. Purport: Shri Lochandas Thakur has sung, Apana karama bhunjaya samana kahaya lochana dasa. Instead of taking good instructions from the sages and the Shastras, godless non-devotees act whimsically, according to their own plans. Actually, however, no one has his own plans because everyone is bound by the laws of nature and must act according to his tendency in the material conditional life. Therefore, one must change one's own decision and follow the decision of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Wow, such a beautiful line. Therefore, one must change one's own decisions and follow the decisions of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Then one is rescued from the punishment by Yamaraj. Kamsa was not uneducated. It appears from his talks with Vasudeva and Devaki that he knew all about the laws of nature, but because of his association with bad ministers, he could not make a clear decision about his welfare. Therefore, the Chaitanya Caritāmṛta, Madhya Leela 22.54 says, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koi, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. If one desires his real benefit, welfare, he must associate with devotees and saintly persons, and in this way rectify the material condition of his life. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Such a beautiful verse. Shukdev Goswami is speaking here. The whole point is about the glories of Sadhu Sangha and the ill effects of bad association also. So both are shared here. Kamsa was very, very learned, but he was his mantri, dur mantri bhihi. His ministers were bad. Similarly, if one is surrounded by dur mantri, mantri basically is supposed to give good advice to the king. I'm not sure if mantri and mantra have some connection, but quite similar. Mantra is supposed to relieve the mind. Not sure if the mantri word also has some similar connotation, but the point is that the mantri is supposed to be the first person who king approaches, and the king takes good advice so that he can make good decisions in life. But when one is surrounded by dur mantri bhi, like Kamsa was surrounded, then one loses one's intelligence because of bad association. Asat sangatyag a Vaishnav achar. That if one is surrounded by bad association, then one will lose the good counsel. Therefore, one must change one's own decision, not act as per one's own whims and fantasies or whimsical nature, and give the charge of one's life in the hands of Guru and Krishna. Nachao, nachao, nachao se mate, as Srila Prabhupada said in the Jaladuta poem. O Krishna, I do not have right words. I do not know how will I ever be able to execute the mission of Guru, but I want to just make me dance the way you want me to dance. This is the exalted prayer of a great devotee. So if we also give our life, our decisions in the hands of Guru and Krishna, then Prabhupada is mentioning, then one is rescued from the punishment by Yamaraj. Apana karama bhunjaya saman. If one gives the charge of one's life, one decision in the hands of Guru and Krishna, apana karama bhunjaya is the prayer by Lochandas Thakur, that this is in the samsare majya rohile poriya se pade nahilo asham. Lochandas Thakur regrets, I am trapped in sense gratifications. I have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. Then Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted to this movement. But when one takes to the shelter of Guru and Krishna, then Yamaraj cannot harm that person. One is rescued from Yamaraj or hellish life. So multiple examples are there. Even Dashrath Maharaj had good ministers. All the great Rajarishis has always good ministers. And on the contrary, we discussed the other day, Kaikai had bad minister. Not exactly minister, but kind of servant or counselor, you can say, mantra, who had an evil plan. Kaikeyi had a very, very loving heart towards Lord Ram. She loved Lord Ram more than Bharat. But then, because of the bad association of the evil plot and the evil mind and the evil influence of Manthara, Kaikeyi changed her mind. That's what Prabhupada is also saying, that it appears that Kamsa was quite learned, but because of the bad ministers, he could not make a clear decision. Similarly, if we in life have bad friends, bad company, bad association, we will not be able to make clear decisions in life. Very, very nicely Prabhupada is mentioning. So one must associate with devotees, saintly persons, sadhu sangha. This is the sum and substance of this beautiful verse. Give up bad company and embrace the good company. Life will be clear, mind will be clear, and Yamadutas will never cause fear. Okay. So, any other thoughts, comments before we move to the next one? Okay, we have last few verses, so we'll try to complete the 3 verses today. 44. Who would like to read this one, please?
Prabhu, Hare Kṛṣṇa, I can read.
Yeah, please.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. Text 44. Sandishya sadhu lokasya kadane kadana priyan kamarupa dharam dikshu danavan griham abhishat. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. These demons, the followers of Kamsa, were expert at persecuting others, especially the Vaishnavas, and could assume any form they desired. After giving these demons permission to go everywhere and persecute the saintly persons, Kamsa entered his palace. See here, Srila Shukadev Goswami is further explaining this scenery, that Kamsa, we can see, we read it before, the Vaishnavas, the truthfulness, compassion, austerity, mercifulness, those were the characteristics. And here we can see, they are expert in persecuting others. And persecution means in different ways. They can do persecution by mentally, physically, and they can do any kind of form. So they were all like mystic yogis. And Kamsa, by his association, he was friend with them, and he ordered them. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhu, back to you. Please said correct.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Kamsa, as we know, was very, very powerful king. And he had all these others, Danavas, as mentioned here. Danavan, when he gave the orders to all these demons, Danava, who were very expert. They had good career background, experience. The point is that basically in the bad company, one loses one's intelligence to discriminate what is right, what is wrong. I was just thinking that here the ministers, maybe Kamsa was actually kind of neutral or even forgiving Devaki and Vasudeva. So he was coming from a very state of self-remorse and guilt. And in that state, a person is quite reflective, is it not, right? When he realized that actually I didn't made some mistake, I was wrong, sorry. And that is the best time when a person can take to good action, right? You all agree? When the person is self-reflective and in self-remorse that I did bad, okay, what is the atonement, right? But the evil ministers turned the whole plot. Totally opposite, I was thinking, there was the situation when Devaki's life was at stake. Kamsa had made his mind that I'm going to kill Devaki. The sword was in his hand and the hairs were in the other hand. He had totally made his mind. But that was the time when somehow he got the good counsel by Vasudeva. Although he did not want to hear, but somehow Vasudeva, by his good intelligence and knowing the principles of scriptures, principles of time, place, situation, he could turn the table. So good people can turn hell to heaven. Bad people can turn, heaven into hell. That's exactly what we see here. Good friends, good association of devotees can help us to cross over the cycle of birth and death. And bad association can seriously be an impediment on our Krishna consciousness and will drag us further down in the cycle of birth and death. We cannot choose our height, our weight, our country, the color of the skin. We cannot choose the day we were born. We cannot choose the country we were born. We cannot choose our father or relatives, but we can choose our association, the kind of company we keep. So all these verses talk about the same thing, that we must choose our company very wisely. Otherwise, the consequences will follow, whether good or bad. That choice we need to make. Thank you, Prabhu. Second last verse of this chapter is 45. Wants to read? Yes. Vipul Prabhu, want to read?
I can close it. Hare Kṛṣṇa Pranam, all Krishna Rupa, text 45. Tebharaja praptrashthas tamasa modha chetasha shatam vidvesham achirur arat agata mittava. Translation purport by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Joy. Searches with passion and ignorance and not knowing what was good or bad for them, the Asuras, for whom impending death was waiting, began the persecution of the saintly persons. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.19, Dehinasmin jatha dehe komaram javanam jatha jara tatha dhyanto prapti dhirasthatranam mujjati. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth and old age, and the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Irresponsible persons, such as with passion and ignorance, foolishly do things that are not to be done. Nunam pramutta kurute vikrama. But one should know the results of the irresponsible actions and explain in the next verse. So, knowing Shastra, Guru's Bani help us to decide good or bad and to decide what should be done at what conditions. If anything can be done by the Guru's advice or seniors, devotees' advice. But if we do whimsical decisions on our own, we end up doing harm to others and ultimately to us. That I understand, Guruji. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. What is to be done? What is not to be done? Right? This is a big question. Demoniac people decide by their own whims and fantasies, and saintly people decide what Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra tell. Let's read this beautiful verse which Prabhupada is partially quoting from Canto 5, the teachings of Rishabdev. Someone wants to read the verse in the translation?
Can I, Prabhu?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, please.
Nunam pramat kurute vikrama yad indriya pritaya aprinoti na sadhu manye yata atmanoyam asan api klesada asa deha. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When a person considers sense gratification to the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it not benefiting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after the other. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you so much. This is the beautiful verse from the teachings of Lord Rishabdev to his children. That human life is not meant for lower pleasures or to engage in things which are available to even dogs and hogs, surcharged with passion and ignorance, right? Doing things which are not meant to be done, which even animals can do. This is not the real goal of human form of life. Human life is meant for higher purpose, tapo divyam, divine austerity of Krishna consciousness. But people, majority of the population, have no time to read scriptures, no time to associate with devotees, and busy in the materialistic, nunam pramattaha, like completely busy, like pramattaha, completely absorbed in what? Vikarma, in bad activities. In Bhagavata also, Krishna says that ya shastra vidim utsrajya, those who give up the vidhi or the rules of the scriptures, then they just achieve no happiness, no ultimate goal of life. They will just continue to be born again in this cycle of birth and death, not knowing that we have received this body is already like a bad bargain. This is because of the past misdeeds or selfish desires to enjoy. We have received this body. And again, one does that, then again, one will be born in the bad species, cat, bad, hellish life. So rather, Prabhupada mentions to make best use of the bad bargain. Best use is to take to Krishna consciousness, to chant the holy names, to read Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, etc. Let's see what happens in the next verse. Last verse of chapter 4. Who would like to read this one? Yes, Lakshay, Prabhu, want to read?
Hare Kṛṣṇa, I can read. Ayushashriyam yaso dharmam lokan ashishayeva Antya shreyasmi sarvani pumsho mahat atikrama. Translation. My dear king, when a man persecutes great souls, all his benediction of longevity, beauty, fame, religion, blessings, and promotion to higher planets will be destroyed. Purport. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of 10th canto, 4th chapters of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam entitled The Atrocities of King Kamsa. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna. So, thank you, Prabhu. Shukdev Goswami is mentioning here that few things happen when one tries to harm, especially harm great souls. Hanti shreyamsi sarvani. So, ayu, life, age, duration of life, shriyam, beauty, yasha, fame, dharma, religion, lokan, elevation to higher planets, ashish, of course, when you try to kill others, how can you expect blessings from them? So these 6 things, longevity, beauty, fame, religion, blessings, and promotion, will be destroyed. Hanti, if one, mahat atikramaha, trespassing against great souls, atikramaha. So all these qualities, sarvani pumsaha, mahat atikramaha. That means we should not cause any harm or try to trespass great personalities, devotees, guru, thinking, oh, I'm better than the guru, thinking, oh, I'm better, or even the word Prabhupada is using the word persecutes, basically harm. There are 6 types of offenses to the devotees. Hanti nindati vaidveshti vaishnavanna bhinandati krudhyate yopina harshan darshane patanani shat. The foremost is the Hanti, who tries to kill, which he was trying to do basically. To kill the devotees, right? To kill the cows, to kill the dharma. So, even in the Bhagavatam Canto 1, I believe we read that the moment Duryodhana touched the hairs, or Duryodhana touched the hairs of Draupadi, it is mentioned that the countdown of his life started, right? 10, 9, 8, 7. As if one causes harm to devotees, even then Krishna cannot save. The famous story of Durvasa and Ambarish Maharaj. Krishna says, devotees are my life and soul. I live in the heart of my devotees. My devotees live in my heart. They think of nothing but me. I think of nothing but them. So if someone tries to harm my devotees, there is no hope for such person. This is very mild thing, but the punishments are actually much higher, especially of trying to harm a devotee. Very, very severe. Very, very severe. Krishna can tolerate anything, but he cannot tolerate any insult or harm to his devotee. Like a father can tolerate, a mother can tolerate if someone, says something wrong to them, but they will be 20 or 1,000 times more mad if someone tries to harm their child. Is it not? Or say bad thing to their child. So Krishna's love for his children, which is all of us, his devotees, is 1,000,000 times more than any mother, any father of this world. Therefore, he is called Bhagavatsala. Bhagavatsala. So this basically brings us to the end of this chapter, chapter 4, entitled Atrocities of King Kamsa. We'll take a quick synopsis of what we read in this chapter. So basically, the chapter begins when the situation Vasudeva returns. He puts the shackles back. Everything is as it is because Kamsa and the team should not get to know that anything has happened. So it was a very, very difficult task. And then suddenly Yogamaya, the baby girl, starts to cry. And Kamsa runs, running. Hey, who is there? And then the guards get to know, everyone gets to know. Now it's like everything was silent, and suddenly there's a lot of commotion in the middle of the night. That suddenly, the Yogamaya is there, and then Kamsa gets to know the baby is born. The baby who was supposed to kill him is born. The 8th child of Devaki is born. And then, by the influence of destiny, you have already been killed. So basically, Vasudeva and Devaki try to again say, don't try to harm this baby. She's a girl. You have already killed our 6 children. Please, I'm begging you, my brother. I'm begging you, my brother-in-law. Please don't kill. But Kamsa did not hear, right? And grasped the newborn, tried to dash her against the surface of a stone, but suddenly the baby slipped out of his hands. And the goddess Durga appeared with 8 arms and different weapons. And we discussed that aspect in great detail. And then she also told that the baby who was supposed to be born as your Kal is already born. So then she kind of disappeared. And then Kamsa realized, Baba, these are not ordinary people. They gave birth to Durga. I worship Durga. And then Prabhupada mentioned that devotees, non-devotees or even demoniac people, they take to this worship and forget Krishna, the source of all demigods. So Kamsa approached, and then he realized that he did a mistake. And then there are multiple verses he speaks that trying to justify that he was not totally wrong. Oh, maybe your children died because of destiny, because of providence. After all, one who is born, jatasya dhruva mrityu dhruva janma mritasya cha, one who is born will die. So don't blame me completely. I'm kind of innocent. So he's trying to justify, and we discussed that. Ignorant and arrogant people try to justify their actions. But humble people, they do make mistakes. To err is human. But they're humble to be self-reflective, and then they try to reform their mistakes. They realize their mistake. But Kamsa tried to justify, oh, actually, unfortunately, they were killed by me, but please do not lament for them. Just think about, is it easy? The same killer is saying, do not lament. 6 children I killed, but do not lament. To the parents, he's saying, let's absorb ourselves in that pastime. It's not easy, but he's trying to justify. Everyone suffers and enjoys the result of his own work under the control of providence. So don't blame me. And then we discuss the word sadhavo dinavatsala. After all, you are sadhus. You are dinavatsala. you should be kind. So I'm falling at your feet. But great souls are certainly dinavatsala. They forgive. They kind of, okay. They did not take it. And also they knew that Krishna is safe in Gokula. That was the other reason also. So finally, they say bye-bye. Kamsa release them. They go to their place. Kamsa comes back. And finally, he talks to his ministers. Now, he is sharing his heart with his ministers, but his ministers were like the ministers of Hiranyakashipu. When Hiranyakashipu could not try to kill Prahlad, everyone was concerned. What's happening? He is not an ordinary person. Hiranyakashipu was concerned. So here Kamsa is concerned. What just really happened in the night? I was supposed to kill that child, and then suddenly this Durga, from where did she appear? Certainly something is not, in my favor. And then she also said, well, the person who's supposed to kill me is already born, so he is concerned. Now he gave very big philosophy class. 15 verses almost he spoke. But now when the time came to apply, after all, one who is born will die. that same principle did not apply for him. This is demoniac again. They may speak big words, but when the time comes to apply, this is the real test. Learning verses, learning purports is not a big thing, but the real test is in application. So ministers, Jaisa Raja, Vaisa Praja, ministers were also demoniac. They also encouraged, oh great king of the Bhoja dynasty, you are so great. Who can harm you? Everyone is fearful of you. Indra is also fearful of you. Shiva is fearful of you. Who can come in front of your sharp arrows? People, just by hearing your name, by seeing your arrows, they fled away in the battlefield. Even Brahma is busy doing tapasya. No one can cause any harm to you. You are so a brave warrior. No one can cause any harm. So don't worry, right? And after all, your enemy, we know that the source of all the demigods is Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu sits in multiple places, as are mentioned, where there are cows, where brahmanas, austerities, sacrifices are performed. That's where Lord Vishnu resides. We will destroy all those places. You just give us an order, and we will, your truthful servants, your humble servants, we will destroy all that. And today we come to today's discussion. Kamsa, influenced by the evil, bad association, gave the orders. Okay, you have my full permission. Go ahead and start this demoniac act. And that's basically blind leader, blind followers, andhantarastha. Blind leader, blind followers, yeah. So discuss the power of association also. And Prabhupada also mentioned in the last few verses that opposition will be there in Krishna consciousness. Opposition will always be there. Yet one should keep going. One should keep going. And if one takes to the shelter of Guru Sadhu Shastra, Prabhupada is mentioning that person will be free from the punishment of Yamaraja. Therefore, one must engage one's own decision. One must change one's own decision. So clearly, reading as it is from the purport. One must change one's own decision and follow the decision of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Then one is rescued from the punishment of Yamaraj. Otherwise, the bad ministers of conditioned mind, of so-called friends, of materialistic, people around, of our own lust, anger, greed, will degrade us. Therefore, we should always listen to Guru Sadhu Shastra. They will uplift us. And this is real Krishna consciousness. But Kamsa did not do so. Therefore, he made a wrong choice. And if one makes the wrong choice of harming devotees, then one's life, one's fortune, one's age, one's all the good qualities will be completely destroyed. So this is a quick summary of this 4th chapter. You can take some thoughts, reflections, any questions anyone has. Please feel free to share. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you. Any quick reflections? Anything you liked? Anything struck you in this chapter you want to share?
Prabhuji, just want to share. I think I was just recalling hearing you. Thank you so much for the summary. Very wonderful phrases and explanation about association. Just want to share bad associations, right? We are the one to decide. But the other way around, if in case we would have fed them with those materialistic words, we are like feeding them, right? And they are getting back to us with the same. They wouldn't know, right? If we would have fed them with good, if we would have talked to them with on Krishna topics or Bhagavad Gita or so, probably they would have listened. And next time when we talk to them, probably they would talk to us on Bhagavan only. So it's not just we going to the association who already know, If we go to the other people who doesn't know and we speak about Bhagwan, probably they'll come back to us. Of course, we shouldn't expect them to change, but so yeah, just wanted to share.
Thank you. That's a beautiful point. And yes, we must try our best, as Prabhupada is mentioning, to share Krishna consciousness with others. That's what exactly it means to share Krishna consciousness. But at the same time, we have to be careful, right? You may have seen this, kabaddi, right? It's team A, team B, okay? And there are people around. In kabaddi, I don't know how many people are there. Let's say like a few people are around. Team B is non-devotees, right? Team A is Krishna consciousness or devotees. So the goal is that this person, right, has to go, right, in kabaddi. And the goal is to bring a few people or touch a few people, but very important, let's say this person goes, touches this guy, and then, but then he thinks, okay, I can make everyone devotee. And then he gets trapped here, and then this cannot come back. So that's like a devotee like Prabhupada can make everyone devotee. But maybe one realizes that, well, I cannot make everyone devotee, but this person is very nice, humble person and looks very weak to Maya. So I just touch this person, come back. Now this person is also in this team. So the point is, yes, the idea is very good, but at the same time, we have to understand that we have to constantly nourish ourselves in good company, and we have to have a healthy balance of sharing and care and in our own spiritual strength. Right, so a healthy balance is required. So first, one's own, bhakti. One nourishes oneself with good japa, sadhu sangha, association, and then one will naturally be inspired, and by the direction of senior Vaishnavas and Guru, they will request or order, now you please try to share this with your friends, neighbors, etc. Then yes, we should take the blessings and orders and do our best. Because otherwise, if we say, okay, now I'll make my whole world a devotee, we may not be strong enough. And their anti-Krishna conscious arguments, reasoning may corrupt our mind. And we may give up Krishna consciousness. So, does that help, Mataji?
Very true, Prabhuji. Very true. That's very true. So is it like wait until they come to us, probably? Maybe if they are...
There's no like black and white thing. If you find someone who is very, the first thing is who's like humble and eager to know, they're inquisitive. Oh, you go to ISKCON. Oh, what do you do there? I have also heard about ISKCON. I have been also thinking actually about, but I'm not sure, well, I'm allowed to go. And the person is humble and eager to know. But if someone says, hey, Baba, you go to ISKCON, never go there. They will pollute you. They will do this too. They will do this. And then you will go mad and never go there. Then we have to stay away from such person, right? So it's no like black and white thing. And therefore we need guidance. Therefore we need guidance from our teachers, mentors, etc.
Understood. Thank you, Prabhu. Kabaddi explanation was really good. Makes sense.
Just repeating what I heard. Thank you for your nice comment. Any other comments anyone has? Any thoughts, any reflections from this chapter?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. And a wonderful explanation, Prabhuji. The summary also you very nice. And as Mataji said and you said, association is the most important, because at least for me, without association, I get even for 1 hour or 2 hours, trying to look at YouTube, that, this, or whatever, even in between my calls and all. But now, Renka always puts some, kirtans or lectures going on. So sometimes even now I'm also doing that. So association is very, very, as you said, Prabhuji, even Kaikeyi, she loved Lord Rama the most, as you said. And even Lord Rama loved Kaikeyi more than her own mother. But just by the false association of mantra, just sowing that kind of a seed, and you also mentioned, right, Prabhuji, so 5 people, whoever you associate with, after a few days or months or weeks, you will become one of them. So if you associate with devotees, you'll become devotee. If you associate with materialistic persons, or a businessman or whatever, right? So I like that one. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Krishna bhakti janma mula hoye sadhu sanga. Krishna prema janma tina puna mukhya anga. The root cause of the devotion is sadhu sanga. One may say, okay, mere ko to mil gaya, and now I've got the sadhu sanga, now I've got the bija, I got the Krishna bhakti bija I got. Guru Krishna prasada pai bhakti latta bija I got. I don't need sadhu sanga now. Then Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna prema janmai puna mukhya anga. Krishna prema. If we have to awaken Krishna prema, then the mukhya anga is again sadhu sanga. The main limb, the main thing which will help us awaken Krishna prema is sadhu sanga. Prabhupada said, if one thinks one can practice Krishna consciousness alone, that's hallucination. So, very, very important point. Thank you, Prabhu. Any other point, any comment, thought, correction?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Go on.
Hare Krishna. That's very true, Prabhuji. For myself, we are not able to attend the temple, so I'm missing the sadhu sangha very much. Luckily, I'm getting all these programs, especially your program, your classes, through this media. I'm so happy, Prabhuji. Just imagine a year without sadhu sangha, you lose. It's a great thing, really. If the mentors, if the gurus have said so, they are really right. That we need the sadhu sangha for progress. I could have read the Bhagavatam alone, but it wouldn't have been of the same effect. This is true, Prabhuji. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for giving your sadhu sangha. We're so grateful because you're such a wonderful devotee. Your name is Devaki. You're reading about Devaki Mata. So
I'm so happy Maharaj was there, Prabhu. Maharaj.
Sorry?
My Guru Maharaj attended. The Guru Maharaj was there.
Yogendra Swami Maharaj is your spiritual master?
Yes, he's so strict, no? Yeah, only chanting and chanting. He requires you only to chant and chant. Yes. But I'm not able to reach 64 every day, I do only 2 per day, 2 times 16, and only 64 in Ekadasi. I haven't reached that still. I'm doing every day 64 rounds,
Wow. But still, that's what you're doing is amazing. I didn't know that he's your initiating guru. He is, Vikant Prabhu can tell more. He spent good time. Vikant Prabhu, you want to tell about Maharaj?
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. Maharaj, we had I can't say wonderful, it's more than that. Maharaj shared a lot of good experiences with us, and only thing that he said was in the morning when we were not when Prabhu was cooking prasadam for Maharaj said one thing: just play Hare Krishna mantra always. No matter what it is, just play Hare Krishna mantra. And also he said, even while you are eating, you can chant Hare Krishna mantra also, like in between, and if you're listening something or if you're taking a break, you can take at least Hare Krishna. It's like there was everywhere we can put, or we can have Krishna Govinda in ourselves. That's one thing which Maharaj was asking us to do, and he was so much caring, and he was giving all good information to us. And while eating, Maharaj was having a prasadam. I got a chance to read Srila Prabhupada letters, and they were also very informative and also eye-opening in a way that there's so much of misconception I felt initially, but while reading those, I felt like, okay, this is how I was before. Like all the and after reading those purports, I felt it is, yes, this is why I got introduced to into this Krishna consciousness. I felt really connected after. I don't know why Maharaj asked me to read, but it is a good thing that happened to me. And even I felt like Serenya also had a good opportunity as well. As a family, we all had a good opportunity to host Maharaj, and at least a couple of days we were able to see him in person at home. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your eagerness to serve and host. Great souls are Vajrad api Kathorad, Kusumat api Komalad. Yes, they may be strict, but for our own good, right? What will they get if we chant more? Right? It's for our own good. They remind us, because conditioned mind like myself tries to go to the negative. Downward slope is always easy. It doesn't take, but to push up, to increase our enthusiasm for bhakti, for seva, for Krishna consciousness, we need to be reminded again and again. But at the same time, they're very, very soft-hearted, like a child. Maharaj was so humble, so humble. I think you're mentioning, oh, sorry if, they always say sorry if we, every time, I have kind of bid like a farewell, like a bye to any great person. They always say, please forgive us if we caused any inconvenience to you or your, group. You always say that. And what can I say there? They've been so kind and humble. But this is the greatness. The more one spiritually elevates, the more humble one gets. And we see that in all the Maharajas. Any time, any association with any great soul, they're always having this wonderful quality of humility to consider oneself, really. They don't consider, oh, I am Nanda. I have been traveling for 50 years, delivering the whole world, right? I came here for you, to deliver you. They're so humble. They're so learned, but they're completely down to earth. So, yeah, we must take that association. Okay, any other thoughts? Okay, then we'll read quickly the synopsis or the summary for chapter 5, which is the meeting of Nanda and Vasudeva, and we'll start this chapter tomorrow, but we can read the summary real quick. Puna Mataji has joined. We are so grateful for your association. Are you in a position to read?
Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam everyone. Sure, Prabhuji. As described in this chapter, Nanda Maharaj very gorgeously performed the birth ceremony for his newborn child. Then he went to Kamsa to pay taxes due and met his intimate friend Vasudeva. There was a great jubilant all over Vrindavana due to Krishna's birth. Everyone was overwhelmed with joy. Therefore, the king of Vajra Maharaj Nanda wanted to perform the birth ceremony for his child, and he did. During this great festival, Nanda Maharaj gave in charity to all present whatever they desired. After the festival, Nanda Maharaj put the cowherd men in charge of protecting Gokula, and then he went to Mathura to pay official taxes. Prabhuji, can you scroll, please? Official taxes to Kamsa. In Mathura, Nanda Maharaj met Vasudeva. Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva were brothers. And Vasudeva praised Nanda Maharaj's good fortune because he knew that Krishna had accepted Nanda Maharaj as his father. When Vasudeva inquired from Nanda Maharaj about the welfare of the child, Nanda Maharaj informed him all about Vrindavana, and Vasudeva was very much satisfied by this. Although he expressed his grief because Devaki's many children had been killed by Kamsa, Nanda Maharaj consoled Vasudeva by saying that everything happens according to the destiny, and one who knows this is not aggrieved. Expecting many disturbances in Gokula, Vasudeva then advised Nanda Maharaj not to wait in Mathura but to return to Vrindavana as soon as possible. Thus, Nanda Maharaj took leave of Vasudeva and returned to Vrindavana with the other cowherd men on their bullock carts. Prabhuji. Back to you, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. We're blessed to have your association, especially on this Ekadashi day. Thank you.
My pleasure, Prabhuji. My pleasure. Thank you.
So this beautiful chapter is going to open up tomorrow. Then these two great personalities, Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj, comes from Gokul to Mathura to pay taxes, and a lot of conversations happen. But we will discuss in more detail tomorrow. Anything before we stop for today? Anyone has on his mind or her mind?
Prabhuji, excuse me. Prabhuji, Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj, are they brothers? It's mentioned somewhere they are brothers, no? But now they are friends. How do you say they are friends?
I can double check, of course. I mean, not like direct blood brothers, but maybe distant cousin kind of.
I think this chapter, it's mentioned brothers, no? Then now I'm reading its friend.
Brother, sometimes brother is used like general term also, okay? Brother, God brother, but I can double check about all the lineage which we discussed. Yeah, it may not be the brother from the same father. That's certainly not the context here.
Maybe father of Krishna. Both are fathers of Krishna. So in that way, maybe. Not sure.
I'll refer to the lineage and share maybe tomorrow. But certainly they are not the sons of the same father. So that's not the context. The context is more like friend. Sometimes a close friend we may say, "Oh, you're like my brother, right? You're my elder brother, you're my younger brother." So things like so. That's also could be the context here.
Prabhu, Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Yes,
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhu. So actually, not Devomir was the grandfather of Shuroshan, and he had two wives. One was Vaishya wife, and the other one was the Kshatriya wife. And then in the Kshatriya wife, that was Shuroshan, and then from then they are Vasudeva. And the Vaishya wife was Parjanya, and his son was Nanda Maharaj. So that's how it came like that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
It's like cousin brother, right, Prabhuji? We can say.
Yes, Prabhu. Actually, they were cousin. Even Uddhav Maharaj's father also cousin, Nanda Maharaj, and Vasudev's cousin.
So who was the mother of Nanda?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I see here in the 9th canto, we read this 9.24, chapter 24, there is mention of from Chitraratha and Shura and Bhoja dynasty, Devamida. Devamida's was Shura. Shurasena was the father of Vasudeva.
Yes, Prabhu. But Devamida has another wife who was a Vaishya. And from that Vaishya wife, their son was Parjanya. And Parjanya's son was Nanda Maharaj.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. So maybe they had the common grandfather kind of relationship, right? Cousin, yeah. But the point is they were very close, like friendly relationships were also there. So from that perspective also is there. So thank you, Prabhu, for adding that. Okay, so we'll pause here and continue tomorrow and see what conversations happen between these two great souls. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrī Prabhupada ki jai, Samhita Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyaiva cha patitānāṁ pāvanebhyo Vaishnavavrindo. Thank you. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.